Okay, hello. This is Justin M. Alvarez. I'm going to sort of do like an impromptu video. This is probably going to be an hour video. There's a lot to discuss. I have notes. I have note cards. So just bear with me here. I'm going to do timestamps for all this stuff. I'm going to be doing an overview so you can read everything that I covered after I make the video. Make sure to send this video out to everybody. Who my audience is pretty much everybody. It's political people and it's actors in this country and other countries. So some of the most pressing issues first, and then I'm gonna get to my notes. So they were just recently censoring my Facebook comment section. I have these photo albums on Facebook. I'm an awesome photographer. I've went to community college in Maryland over 20 years ago, and I've learned how to take photographs there. I've photographed my time in Los Angeles for years while Adam Driver was driving home. I have awesome photographs of LA and set and photographs of pictures on set that they were censoring. So I have these albums on my Facebook page, Mobile Uploads Volume 1, Mobile Uploads Volume 2, the comment sections from Mobile Uploads Volume 1 and 2. I've reposted all of the images. So on each photograph, you can literally click on it. And I've reposted the main image, and it's a crystal clear, high resolution image from the original file, so you can see everything that's in the photograph that I intended for you to see in the photograph. So it's a clear image. A lot of the ones that I posted in 2009, 2008, 2010, they're blurry for some reason, but this is a crystal clear image. So I've reposted in the comment section. I've reposted images from the original file. There's also contact sheets, so you can see images before the image that I post, images after the image that I post. Just so if I take a picture of a sunrise or a sunset, you're actually seeing other images of the sunrise and sunset before and after the photograph that I post, right? That makes sense, right? So it's like you can see contact sheets. Sometimes it's the day before, it's the day after, just to give viewers some behind the scenes information, as much information as possible for as much information as possible, so why I was taking those photographs, what the photographs mean, what was happening in Los Angeles the day before and after, and it's very insightful. So I also think that there's someone that's lying and or conning while I'm getting robbed, but they're lying and conning another group of people while stealing my materials. It's like it almost might have something to do with Game of Thrones, right? There's also Shia LaBeouf's Just Do It. You guys should watch that. That came out in 2015, 2016. His hair is long like it is from the movie 300, and I know that movie that came out in 2005 or 2006. It's in my notes somewhere. I'm kind of going off the top of my head here, but I'm going to talk about 300. I'm going to talk about Inception. But on Brothers and Sisters, one of the photographs on Mobile Uploads Volume 1, there's several photographs of me on set, on a movie set on Disney Studios at a television show, Brothers and Sisters. When Adam Driver was driving home, I was doing background work and extra work. I've posted a year's worth of photographs under one of those comment sections. There's 100 photographs. You can literally go see 100 images at Disney Studios in Los Angeles, California, Burbank, California, of cameras, people making television shows that you have to get a security pass to get onto that set. I worked there for 3 years. Alias season 1 and season 2, season 4, season 5, Brothers and Sisters seasons 1, 2, and 3. And there's 100 photographs. You can watch it. They were censoring those images. Whoever, Facebook was, somebody was, the deep state, like Donald Trump says, somebody, because they don't want to see. The other thing, they don't want to see my proof. Images that people from other countries like Justin Bieber and Drake, both from Canada, are utilizing my images. I'm going to kind of go off the top of my head here. If we were in America, a politician or somebody in the news media, like Donald Trump is yelling at CNN, you are fake news, someone would be able to say, Drake, Justin Bieber, are you utilizing his stuff, yes or no? You know what I mean? And then Drake would have to say yes, right? And then it's just like, how much did you make? And he would say, a lot. And he's like, okay, we'll write that guy a check. So it's like all those images are up there. It's provable that Drake and Justin Bieber, both from Canada, are utilizing Justin M. Alvarez's copyrighted photographs. I'm in the motion picture industry, right? It starts with the photograph, and then you get words, and then you now have a talkie. Charlie Chaplin was in the silent film era, and then it became a talkie. They put first it was words at the bottom, then you could actually hear their voice. So people are taking my materials and making movies, TV shows, and music videos with my stuff for multiple different reasons, and I need to get a paycheck, right? So That's what this is about, right? So it's like we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, right? So it's like, I mean, they're so involved. Like if God suddenly turned on all the lights, people would be shocked about what's actually happening in this country and around the world. And it's based off of stealing people's materials. They want more free theater. I know that it is, right? Because they're utilizing my stuff for all kinds of stuff. Political campaigns, I'm going to talk about that reluctantly, hesitantly. I don't want to do that, but it's like they're utilizing my materials for political campaigns. So it's just like, it's because Adam Driver turned around and went home, and I stayed in Los Angeles, and I've been operating with spiritual principles, higher principles, since I was in high school, right? And they're trying to say all different kinds of stuff about me. Like, I don't know if I mentioned this, Game of Thrones. Somebody said something, the storyline, one of the plot lines for Game of Thrones, I was like, that sounds familiar. Is that a true story? Right? It's like, so there, and someone, I know they sent that person around to talk to me about that for that very specific reason. There's actually proof on my Facebook page that Justin Bieber and Drake are copying my images, and Tom Holland from England. Right, all these people are from other countries. Like, for instance, Christian Bale, Batman. He is Welsh. He has a British accent when he's not being Batman. Right? There's Superman, Henry Cavill, I think his name is, who's also in Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise. That guy's English. Right? Ryan Reynolds is from Canada. The Queen is on the Canadians' money. Right? So it's just like Hugh Jackman is from Australia. Wolverine. Ryan Reynolds, BFF. Right? So Tom Holland, one of the Spider-Mans, Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange from Spider-Man No Way Home. They are from England. So like, you almost have to be from England and Canada. What's that all about? Why can't someone in America, that's provable that's what is happening? And then I'm getting censored. Like, I talked to a security guard today. I said, could you imagine a store getting robbed and then someone shutting off the cameras because they don't want anybody to know that that's what's happening? I didn't even get to my notes yet. You know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, there's other things like if this was like a Joe Rogan type thing, I'd want to like potentially talk about something cool, like some theories that I have about Jesus Christ and Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And then potentially Jesus Christ being modeled off of Julius Caesar. I said that to someone. They're like, well, they both have the same initials. Julius Caesar, JC, Jesus Christ, JC, right? And then before Jesus Christ, there was Julius Caesar. When Julius Caesar was around, Jesus Christ wasn't there, right? So anyway, it's just a theory of mine that I have, and also about the Israel-Palestine conflict. But it's like, it's so much, and it's just like, which is a country on the map, right? And it's just like, and there's a country that doesn't recognize that country on the map. And they also don't recognize Jesus. So it's just like, well, one of them's a country on the map. Anyway, and my materials are getting stolen, and it's just like, and nobody's like, well, there's some people who knows what's happening, but we don't want to talk about it. Anyway, so they're censoring my images. I believe one of the reasons, I'm going to get to my notes, they're censoring me because they don't want people to have dinner parties. One of my dinner parties, photographs of dinner parties, you can see that on Mobile Uploads Volume 2, Long Day's Journey into Night, with Adam Lassar, Ziggy Peters, Evie. She had a dinner party. She was having dinner parties at her house. She's a lovely woman. People were playing guitar, playing music. I was taking photographs. She had cameras. I borrowed her cameras to make one of my short films in 2010 with a professional TV crew from Brothers and Sisters. So they were censoring those images because they don't want people to know that you can drive to Los Angeles, California, or New York City, or anywhere in America, or even at home where you are, and have a dinner party, invite creative people over. That's how unions form, right? That they don't want people to get any strange ideas about unions or what the country is, or writing letters to the Congress people, or asking questions about where our taxpayer money is going to. So they don't want anybody to know that they can participate in a dinner theater. They don't want you to do that. They want you to go to the movie theater. Just do what you're told, right? This is what it is, for real. Do what you're told. Is that a state-sanctioned dinner party? Is Ryan Reynolds there? No. You need to spend $20 to go watch Ryan Reynolds, Canadian, right? Or Christian Bale, British. You need to go spend $20 to watch them in a movie that is clearly it's state sanctioned, right? You need to go watch somebody from England or Canada, right? One of these actors on Friday and Saturday night with your $20 to go watch the movie, so they can go have a dinner party. You at home, you're not allowed to have a dinner party. Just do what you're told, right? And it's just like, and clearly it's like the people on my friends list. It's like what you can do to help without the news media. Like if somebody all of a sudden, like an actor, and I don't think they're going to do it, right? Because it's like they're all from England and Canada. And this is on purpose, right? Because if we had an American actor, it would take one actor to say what that guy's saying is true. Oh yeah, I can see the similarities, and everybody in the country and the world would be jumping on the bandwagon, like, oh yeah, in this picture, and that picture, and that picture, and in that movie, and that movie, and that movie. They'd be jumping they'd be coming out of the woodwork, all the movies that are copying my stuff, and it's true. There's people in this country who know what's happening, right? It's kind of like because SAG went on strike, the Screen Actors Guild went on strike. That was because of me. right? That somebody picked a New York City Rockefeller Center Christmas tree from my hometown of Elkton, Maryland. That was because of me, right? Because it was like, it wasn't, I told somebody that here in Los Angeles, they said that's very specific. I was like, yeah, it's not Baltimore, it's not Annapolis, it's Elkton, Maryland, right? It's like, it's not even any of the other towns in Cecil County, Maryland, where I'm from. It's not Northeast Maryland, it's not Rising Sun, Maryland, it's not Bow Manor, you know what I mean? It's not any of the other cities. It's Elkton, Maryland, Rising Sun, Chesapeake City. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, they picked it from Elkton, Maryland. Okay, anyway, so they should be paying me. They need to pay me, and they're trying to censor me. So what you can do to help is send these materials out. They want more free theater, just like Jake Gyllenhaal, who they utilized him for Saturday Night Live Dinner with the Dean. That was supposed to be me. And when he was doing, I think it was Spider-Man Far From Home that took place in Italy. I was in Italy. They're copying, exact match copying my Italian photographs. It's like Jake Gyllenhaal is in a video, and he's like all like disheveled. Yeah, I mean, it's like, and he's like yelling into the camera, and the camera's all shaky. That's supposed to be me. That's some predictive programming stuff that's happening with Jake Gyllenhaal, because they're trying to figure out what it would look like if I suddenly, if anybody got on the camera and started saying this is what's happening, right? And if it was a more famous or established actor, it'd have 1 billion views, right? Because they would be like, send that guy stuff out, and it'd be sent out around the world, right? Zelensky asking for money on the streets of Ukraine. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like there's a lot of stuff predicted. COVID. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of okay, fine. Yeah, let's just do. Okay, here we go. COVID video. That's what it is. Here you go. This is part of my prop that I was going to do this because yeah, the gloves are coming off because I'm a theater guy. I'm an actor right here. I'm going to put on a glove that's blue. I messaged one of my friends. I call him one of my friends. Anyway, so he his picture, you can look him on Facebook. It's all blue. Right, and I said, even if it's blue, I'm going to try to look this up here while I'm on here. I said, even if it's not blue, even if it's purple, or I'm going to try to get to this note. I said, even if it's, I'm going to do it from memory. I should be more prepared, but I want to make sure this video keeps going. Because there's this thing about something being blue or orange, they're color coding stuff. I'm like, even if it's not blue, and just hear me out here for a second, and get right, because there's a lot of information. Then you're not going to hear this on the news, right? Like Donald Trump says it's fake news. And then Hillary Clinton said there's a glass ceiling on America when she was running for president. What was she talking about? There's a glass ceiling on America. We're going to smash that glass ceiling. And then Donald Trump's yelling at CNN, you are fake news, right? Okay, so perfect. So there's this thing about it being blue. And if it's not blue, it's still America, right? If it's orange or it's purple or it's green or it's red, or even if it's gay, right? Jeremy Renner says he likes guys, right? So it's just like, and people in this country know that we live in the Middle East, so they're kind of like, oh, does he like women? Well, do he has to really like the woman then? Oh, well then, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, here's a note, right? This is sort of funny. Guys and girls in America are funny. If there's somebody who's from England or Canada, they're just like, take my money, no questions asked. Christian Bale, how many movies you want? How many Batman movies? Oh, you're from England? Take my money, no questions asked. If they're from America, they have to be checked out. Yeah, I mean, it's like, does the NSA and Homeland Security know that all these people from England? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, oh, he's from America? Well, let's go sit down next to him for a second. Let's make sure he checks out. Well, let's make sure he's not from England or Canada. Yeah, I mean, or Guatemala, where Oscar Isaac is from, or Ireland, where Colin Farrell's from. Let's make sure he checks out. He's not from South Africa like Elon Musk, right? He's kind of, oh, he's from America? Well, he might not like women, like Jeremy Renner. Okay, so if I just say that, where's my Marvel superhero movie? Right? Jeremy Renner openly says he likes dudes. So does Spock from Star Trek. And I talked about this in one of my previous videos. Right? So it's like this. It's blue. Right? It's blue. Hello. Right? So it's kind of like, do I need to put on both gloves? It's blue. Right? It's blue. To make sure everybody feels comfortable at home about me having a dinner party. Right? It's like everybody at home has to feel comfortable. Right? And if there's a woman, there's the other thing too. There's a woman being very flirtatious with me, sending all kinds of photographs. This is almost funny. And a video of her with somebody else, right? It's kind of like they need to make the deep state, like Donald Trump says, they need to make sure every other woman in America feels comfortable with a woman sending me something or how I'm talking to a woman. No, I'm going to mention 50 Shades of Grey, right? I'm also going to mention any hip-hop lyric, right? And then I'm also going to mention the Bible. Be thou always ravished with her love. The Bible says that. Be thou always ravished with her loves. Right? Also says the marriage bed is undefiled in the Bible. Right? So the other thing, it says the wife's body is not her own, but the husband's. And the husband's body is not his own, it's the wife's. Right? So it says that in the Bible. Right? Anyway. So there's a lot of stuff here that's just kind of like they're trying to criminalize. See, what they're trying to take away people's rights. I mean, this is what's happening. Right? It's kind of like, they're like, can we take away an American citizen's materials? right? Give it to people from England and Canada, and try to criminalize him talking because he's sober. He's not doing any illegal substances. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like he's making materials that we're using, and we want to control this person. How can we do it? Oh, well, he's very flirtatious with women. Well, first of all, let's try to make him look bad and say that he doesn't like women. Yeah, I mean, let's try to say that he likes guys like Jeremy Renner. You know what I mean? And then we'd have to pay that guy a lot of money then, right? And then it was just also, let me say, it's a federal hate crime to persecute someone for their sexuality. So, and there's photographs of a lot of people that guys and girls that are doing things, and I'm like, if they work for an agency, it's just kind of like, oh, you see all those images when they're making all those symbols and hand signs? What is that? And if they're working with the police or the military, that's a federal hate crime. You're not allowed to utilize taxpayer money. This is why we don't have, see, look, this is all going to come full circle here, right? This is all going to come full circle. This is why we don't have an open and honest media. They don't want anybody to know what the issues are, right? They don't want anybody to know what the issues are. Does national security know that Tom Holland's from England? No. Listen, I have a newspaper somewhere. I'm gonna pull it out. This is what they should be working on. Priority number one. This is real world, right? It's not like their pretend land that they're making for their news media that operates from another planet, right? It's kind of it's fake news. Yeah, I mean, it's like they're not talking about real news and they fabricate stuff. So, what the country should actually be working on, right, is like. Is Homeland? I'm a concerned citizen born in America, concerned about taxpayer money being spent in a false way, in a way that doesn't need to be spent for security agencies like Homeland Security. They should know that Tom Holland's from England. Are they concerned about that at all? That Ryan Reynolds is from Canada and that my materials are being utilized? Does somebody in the State Department or the DOJ? Department of Justice, Homeland Security, National Security, like what are they doing in Washington D.C. right now? And it's just like, we should have a government that's for the people and by the people, like our Constitution states, right? Here's another thing. We're just going off tangents. I'm going to just keep going until I need to go to my notes, but I'm going to pull out, if I have one. I was saving a dollar bill. Oh, I have one. No, I got a 10 and a 20. All right, Founding Fathers here. All right, but it doesn't say it on this bill. Oh, it does say it on this bill, a 10. All right, I have a 10 and 20. All right, perfect. Here you go. Ready? This is part of the show and tell. I'm just gonna keep going until I have to go. All right. So it says on the dollar bill and on Hamilton, this note. You're gonna send this video out. Don't wait for Joe Rogan or someone on MSNBC to tell you to send it out and to be an American citizen. Take the step. We don't live in America. This isn't land of the free, home of the brave. And anybody can come tell me that it's like, no, it's not, because you guys let veterans sleep on the street. Right, and we're gonna talk about patriotism too. You guys let veterans sleep in the street. Why do you let veterans sleep in the street? Right, that's un-American. It's because what are you guys doing with our taxpayer money? Where are the Red Cross tents? You guys are un-American. No, see, eventually, God willing, I'm gonna run for president. I'm not gonna let veterans sleep in the street. Right, and then people need to start taking cash because George Washington and Hamilton and my founding fathers say you need to take it. Because here you go. It says this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. So I just went to a gym because Los Angeles can't put out a fire, right? Because they're too concerned about like my photographs causing a woman to burst into flames like they do in the Middle East, burning with lust. You got to call the fire department for that. Well, instead of looking at my photographs, they should be putting out the fires that were burning in Los Angeles for way too long. Right, it's kind of like you guys can't put out a fire. Where's our taxpayer money going to that? And then somebody told me the mayor. Somebody should find out if that's her real name. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, if it's not, then something has to happen there, because I was in Jamie, My Intentions Are Base, a music video, and then Lance Bass was from NSYNC. I went to his New Year's Eve party in 2004 when I drove out here across country when Adam Driver was driving home. I liked NSYNC when I was in a community college in Maryland. I was in a play as a boy band guy, and the first year that I was out here doing background work, my buddy from Alias, I was doing background work with, he was best friends with NSYNC. He toured with them. He told me his job was to get them girls. I mean, that's what he said. But anyway, so he was a friend of mine, and he the ones that wanted them. And then so he invited me to Lance Bass's place. I went to Lance Bass's New Year's Eve party in 2004 at his home in Hollywood Hills. Macaulay Culkin was there from Home Alone. Everybody was saying he goes by Mac now. So this is just, I'm sort of like, this is a tangent, but it's just like, I got off on an NSYNC tangent. But anyway, so it's like, it says this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. So that means our founding fathers, from the United States of America say that you have to take this, you have to take cash. I'm going to give you an example to somebody that doesn't. There's a gym in Studio City that they were letting people utilize their facilities for free, right? You didn't have to pay them because of the fires, because they can't, they're spending their taxpayer money putting out. Yeah, I mean, it's like you're not allowed to talk to a woman. She might have a baby right on the street. Yeah, I mean, so anyway, so they're not taking cash. There's a gym that doesn't take cash, right? And so I believe there's a sinister reason for that, what they're doing behind the scenes and the deep state, like Donald Trump will say. But you have to take cash, right? So like, let's just say if it's a gym that doesn't want to take cash, as a politician or a leader, I would say, okay, fine, I understand you don't want to take cash because you want to make sure you get your money's worth. And so then make them pay the first month and the last month, and they can pay for cash, right? But what they're doing is you have to give them practically your social security information, right? It's like they have to give them your routing number, your checking account routing number. You have to give them your debit card, right? It's just like, you need my checking account and my debit card number. Let me just give you the $15. Let me give you the first month and the last month, and we call it square. No, we don't take cash. You know what I mean? Kind of like, well, George Washington says that you do, right? So it's kind of like this, and a politician from America needs to be able to say that. Right? It's kind of like, that's what this is, right? It's just kind of like, hey guys, you guys need to be able to say that. Someone in America needs to stand up for America and Americans. I'm an American citizen getting trampled on and robbed, and nobody in America say anything. Well, I'm going to start saying something. You need to listen to what I'm saying, right? Because George Washington says, you need to, hey, Planet Fitness, you need to take my money. You take my money, take this money, and then I'm going to provide you with the cash, like George Washington and my founding father said that you have to do, for all debts, public and private. Planet Fitness, is this public or private? Oh, it's a public debt. I'm saying in public, or it can be in private. Just take my money, Planet Fitness, and let me use your gym, right? It's just like, no, because we're not living in America, and I've been saying that maybe not as specifically or as severely as I need to, but this needs to be America. It's not America till Justin M. Alvarez gets paid, right? So it's like, so click send on this to your friends and potentially a congressperson or somebody in the news media, because the deep state will see that you're doing it, because that needs to come from a woman. I mean, it can't come from a man, right? It's just kind of like, because we're destroying men in this country, right? So you're not allowed to talk to a woman. The fire department needs to get called, Justin, and you're going to let Los Angeles burn. Justin, stop flirting with women. She's going to combust into flames, right? And have a baby right on the street, just like they do in the Middle East. Anyway, so it says, this note is legal tender for all this public and private. So a politician, someone needs to say, Planet Fitness, you need to take cash, period. Right? Our federal government, it's a Federal Reserve note. Our founding fathers say that you need to do that. You need to do that. Businesses need to be. That's an actual issue, right? So it's like what the media has been saying. It's an identity politics. That's the truth. What we have now in this country is identity politics. They are not talking about the actual issues. They are talking about personality traits. It's almost like it's kindergarten, right? It's like, it needs to be America. One of the issues is businesses taking cash. I actually have somewhere here, this is sort of like an impromptu video, but I have notes, and I'll make sure I read it in the comment section here. But it's like of what actual issues are people. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like people, an open, honest media. You know what I mean? Like knowing where our tax money is going. You know what I mean? It's like I say that when people write a check to the IRS, they should also be writing a letter to their congressperson, right? It's like, but they have created an environment. It's like, we don't want you to write what are you doing writing to your congressperson for? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, we don't want you to do that. Just stay home. Don't go to a dinner party. Don't try to take any actions. Just stay home. Yeah, I mean, isn't that what they're telling you? Stay home. Don't defend yourself when there are all those riots. The media says, the media the enemy? Somebody's the enemy here. It's kind of like, stay home, don't defend yourself. Well, my founding fathers gave me rights, and he says that they're inalienable rights. They said man can't take them away, right? It's like they're endowed upon me and everybody by our Creator, right? And then we're supposed to be paying taxes to politicians and the government to be protecting us from all enemies, foreign and domestic. There's domestic enemies. There's things that are happening in this country. And let me just say this, it says in the Bible, they meant it for evil, God meant it for good. Maybe they've meant this for evil, but God means it for good, because there's clearly things that need to be talked about and discussed, right? And they want to talk about something that is from retard land, right? Kindergarten identity politics, while there's businesses aren't taking cash. Right, so it's just kind of like, no, that's a picture of a sunrise or a sunset. It's clearly labeled there. And I've proven that with a dozen other pictures of the sunrise. Look, it's labeled sunrise. Oh, look, it's labeled sunset. So what is this picture of? We think it's something about human anatomy. Well, it's clearly a picture of a sunrise or sunset. And even if it was a picture of a human anatomy, that's nobody's business. What are you doing taking my images and giving them to people from England and Canada? Right? So it's like, no, that's a sunrise and a sunset, and I'm pretty sure people will agree with me. Because why? Because there's a dozen other pictures of the sunrise and sunset. Turn the camera here, turn the camera there, turn the camera up there, camera up there. Oh, look at that. It was at nighttime. Now it's a bright sun, right? And even if it's not blue, it's still America. And even if it's gay, there's Jeremy Renner. So I don't know what the problem is. There's Spock from Star Trek, right? And there's other actors and performers who, Elton John, I think, is gay, right? It's kind of like, see, the thing is, too, I think people, will think suddenly if they don't like Colin Farrell has a sex tape. Why is that guy still making American movies? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, does the deep state care that, oh, he's from Ireland, Justin, that doesn't count? I was like, well, no, Colin Farrell has a sex tape. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, he says, like, well, if he doesn't, then that means we might suddenly, it's almost funny. It is funny. It's like, well, we might feel a certain way unless we really know that he likes women, we might suddenly change our mind, decide we don't like women. If you don't like women, that means we might not like women, and we don't like that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I'm secure enough with my masculinity, my sexuality, who I am as a person. I like women. Is there a problem? What's the problem here? It's just like they were trying to say something to me or blackmail. Like David Duchovny. Oh, here we go. David Duchovny, before he did X-Files, where he was in Twin Peaks, he's in full drag. David Duchovny. You can look up David Duchovny, Twin Peaks. He's in a wig with makeup and a full dress. David Duchovny. And they gave that guy X-Files after that. They see, it's like they're turning. I said this. I was like, they're reverting us back to a year. And somebody stopped me. They said, no, they're trying to revert us to a time that never existed. You know what I mean? It's like back to like the witch trial days, which I also believe that there's something that they could potentially be doing that with too, and it's women involved, right? And they're for, listen, I have friends by the name of Highsmith, Rosencruz, Billingsley. I mean, it's kind of like they're Irish or they're Jewish. I mean, it's like the people that are utilizing my materials. I mean, like that's what it is, and they're trying to say terrible things about me while utilizing my materials, and it's like, that's what it is. And it's like, no, someone in America needs to be able to say, Facebook, it's almost an investigation. Stop censoring that guy's materials. We need all the information. He's doing a good job posting all of his materials. Let him post his materials. Don't censor it, because we live in America. We want to live in America. Stop censoring his materials, right? It's kind of like, let him post that. Stop censoring that. What country does that? China. We're becoming China and Russia. We're China. 110%. Our government is, or they're letting them be that. What are the politicians doing in Washington, D.C. right now? Somebody needs to get on the phone or somewhere and say, Zuckerberg, stop censoring Justin's photographs. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, well, no, I have a vested interest in somebody from England or Canada using his stuff, and I don't want anybody to see that Drake or Justin Alvarez. What do you mean? There's literally a text message I sent to my ex-girlfriend, Megan Smith, on my Facebook page. I said, what do you mean? And that was right before, literally the words, word for word, and Justin Bieber's holding up a sign. It says, what do you mean? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, go look at the photographs. I mean, they're literally exact match, and they were censoring those. You know, so it's kind of like, that's kind of proof. The proof is in the pudding right there, too. It's like, well, they're censoring. If there wasn't something true in there, they wouldn't be censoring those images. I mean, they're kind of validating what I'm saying. Oh, here we go. China before communism. Here you go. Boom. Somebody put this on me. There you go. Oh, look. Oh, she's dancing. Dancing now is now illegal. Look, beautiful Asian woman. China before communism. The photographs that China didn't want you to see, right? So it's like they're making it here. The performance Beijing doesn't want you to see. Clearly, we're living in China because it's like, oh, look, it's blue. It's blue and orange and pink. Pink arms. Blue dress there, orange, a beautiful heavenly experience. Look at that, Los Angeles. So the previous time I did this was with Cecily Strong. Cecily, you know what I mean? It's like there's lots of stuff. That's why that's why she's not on SNL anymore, or Melissa Villasenor. Anyway, so I'm just posting this, showing this right here. It's like there's a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes, but this is it. It's the cover image. The performance Beijing America doesn't want you to see. The firefighters who just, I mean, they're more concerned about putting our taxpayer money should be going to fund institutions for the common good. This is supposed to be a government and a country for the people, by the people, but they have someone somewhere along the way has gotten that twisted, right? And they're doing something that, because cross-examination, as soon as it's cross-examined, the slightest, yeah, we're doing something wrong. There you go. Here you go. Perfect, right there. Shen Yung. There you go. They don't want you joking anymore. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, so anyway, okay, perfect. That's China before communism. Okay, there you go. So, and that's, I mean, informally, what was the United States? So, all right. So that was 30 minutes. There's a 30-minute on a roll right there. Shia LaBeouf, Just Do It. You guys should watch that. The movie 300. One of my short films, I was running around in a Speedo in 2005. That was because I was hired as a background person to be on a swim team for a commercial. How do you go from doing background work, plays in high school, plays in community college, driving cross country to Los Angeles, staying and not turning around and go home? And then standing in for actors who were from other countries? I was standing shoulder to shoulder with Orlando Bloom on the movie Elizabethtown. They brought in sushi chefs for craft service. This was in Orange County the first year that I was out here. It was either November or December, October, November, possibly December 2004. It was right before I met Megan Smith. So I also want to talk about, there's a lot of stuff to talk about in the photographs that I've been posting. I want to, you know what I mean? It's just like the people, I'll have to say this, all of the guys that I'm photographed with, my talent manager at the time, who I think is a nice guy. He might have been doing something behind the scenes that I was maybe possibly sensing. But Adam Lassar, who I met in an acting class, who might be working with the NSA to make sure that I like women for some reason. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, it's none of your business. You know what I mean? It's like, I considered that guy a friend. You know what I mean? So I met Adam Lassar in 2003 at an acting class. I was still going to Cecil Community College. I saved up money. I flew to Los Angeles. I did a 2-week acting class. We stayed at UCLA. I met Charles Shaughnessy from The Nanny. I saw he was a teacher in one of the classes. I met where I listened to Martin Short after the producers. He came out on stage and talked to us in the class. It was just riddled with cool experiences like that. You know what I mean? It's just like, and it was an acting class. So anyway, so I met Adam Lassar, Ziggy Peters, who I'm photographed with 6 years later in Los Angeles at Ziggy Peters' hookah lounge. The images that they were censoring, it's like hookah lounges are legal. There's neon lights. They're scared of lights and shapes that look just like lightsabers. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's kind of like Adam Lassar, Adam Driver. You know what I mean? Then there's Adam Flood Reed. So there's two Adams. Adam Driver, I believe, is a manifestation of what I've done. And I drove to Los Angeles and I stayed, right? So it's like, anyway, you should, long day's journey into night. Look at all these notes. I'm just going to take a moment here to thank my sponsors. You guys should start sending me money, right? It's kind of like, here's the thing. It's just like just donations. Yeah, I mean, how did Zelensky get all that money? Instead of sending money to England and Canada, start paying me, right? And it's like, I'd be an amazing Batman. Yeah, I mean, it's like rivaled Michael Keaton and Christian Bale. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I know that I'd be able to do that. So anyway, but like, these are my notes right here. It's like, these are notes. I put them on like boxes of noodles and like all kinds of stuff here. And anyway, then I have 4 notebooks worth of notes. Amanda, they're saying, oh, he's a man, duh, right? Oh yeah, City Hall got raided because it was a company that I used to work for. Casting wise, they have my name and somebody's last name is very specific. I don't want to say his name out loud right now, but it's just like, let's just say it had something to do. It was my first name and then the last name that was very specific. Anyway, I looked on that website. Within a week, New York City Hall was raided, and 3 of those people's name in New York City Hall, this is for real, you can research this, their last name is Banks. That guy looks like Adam Driver and he's running. I don't know if you can see him in the background. Oh, no, anyway. Anyway, these are my notes right here. I have 3 of them. This is going to be my new one here, but this is all notes, 3 different notebooks, right? Just a moment to take. It's actually really nice lighting right there, right? So when you're standing in, see how that pops right there? You know what I mean? So just like when I'm standing in for like an hour for like Ryan Seacrest picture picked me in 2013 to stand in for him. Was that those images are on my Facebook page. Ryan Seacrest is on the monitor. So what they would do is they would pay me to stand in Ryan Seacrest's place and then see how that little pop went away. You know what I mean? That little highlight in my eye. You see like my eyes are twinkling now, right? So just like that little sparkle. They literally spend an hour doing that, right? And they send up flags and all kinds of stuff. They're like, oh, is the sun here? Is the sun there? See how much of a better image that is? And then they would literally, see, look at that, boom. That's what they do. They would literally spend an hour. So it's like, otherwise it's like this, right? So it's just like, so, and then you just don't see this because the camera would be right there, right? So it's like, and then they literally, see? And they literally just have flags and posts and sandbags and stuff. So they literally set this up, right? So that went away and that went away. So perfect. So that's what, and then they're set up the camera. So that's a little lesson there for standing in, but it's all lighting, right? And I posted images of those, 100 images, as you can see behind the scenes on Brothers and Sisters, that they were censoring. Like, you guys got to start speaking up. Somebody in America who's watching this, one on my Facebook page or YouTube page, send this material out and just start speak up. Speak up. Just do it. Watch the I'm going to post the Shia LaBeouf thing. Just do it, right? It's kind of like, send my stuff out, right? It's kind of like, just email my stuff. If you don't want to post it publicly on your Facebook page because it's your job, then email it, right? It's kind of like, you send it through your Facebook messages, and then contact me, Justin. Let me send you some cash until you get a job, right? Until Ryan Seacrest hires you again to be a stand-in. Yeah, I mean, it's like, which he might do. I mean, it's just like, they're making me do all the work here, right? So it's like, I'm gonna have to go back to my old company and see if I can get hired to stand for Ryan Seacrest, right? Or anybody, really. It's just like, but I mean, it's like, that's like the least, like, that's at the minimum, right? It's kind of like, it should be like, oh, and here's your all this work that we've been stealing and giving it to Christian Bale. Yeah, I mean, just like, and I also have reason to believe Silver Scream, American Psycho. That image of Christian Bale, the Silver Scream play that I did, and it was prior to me moving to Los Angeles, it's the same image. There's a woman, Kristen Hudson, who I was in college with, and prior to that, it was the director's sister. There's a woman, Silver Scream. Go to my Facebook page or just Google Silver Scream, and there's someone with an open mouth, and then look up Christian Bale, American Psycho, and the Silver Scream was prior to American Psycho. So there's a lot of stuff there. And then Batman Begins came out in 2005, and that was years after I had my first movie making experience in Maryland. Before I moved to Los Angeles, I got my SAG card working on The Wire in Baltimore, Maryland, right? I had a movie that had a premiere at the Senator Theater in Baltimore, Maryland. It was a write-up in my hometown paper. The other thing, too, is like, you guys aren't changing my identity. I know they'd love to try to change my identity so they can continue giving my stuff to people from England and Canada. No, this is going to be America, right? So I agree with that slogan, Make America Great Again. And I'm gonna one-up that, right? It's like, it's not America until Justin M. Alvarez gets paid. So that's something that you guys should figure out. You're not changing my identity because you think that I like or don't like women. Right? It's kind of like, oh, well, we think that he doesn't like women anymore. We have to change his identity. No, you're not going to do that. Right? I'm in my hometown paper twice for being in movies and television shows. I just didn't know we were living in the Middle East, right? And they like utilize that to blackmail people, potentially their sexuality, which they shouldn't be doing because this is America. It's not the Middle East. That's what they do in the Middle East, Israel and Palestine, right? So it's just like, I'm pretty sure that's what that is, right? And let me just say this. See, I'm not making any, I mean, it just needs to be said. I mean, it's kind of like, I have Jewish friends, but like, Israel doesn't recognize two things: Jesus Christ, right, which most Americans do, Christmas and Easter. They also don't recognize Palestine, which is a country on the map. And then we just give them money, blanket statement, here, Israel, take money. I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, someone should be able to question that. I mean, it's not to say that they shouldn't have it, but it's like, does anybody question that? I mean, it's kind of like, they don't recognize a country on a map. I recognize a country on a map. Why aren't they recognizing that country on the map? Anyway, so a little background noise here. Hello, Los Angeles. We love you, Los Angeles. Okay, all right, another. So anyway, Joe Rogan. How long does Joe Rogan talk? This is going to be an hour. I barely touched my notes. Someone should tell Facebook, NSA, Adam Lassar. Someone should tell Facebook to stop censoring my page. Oh, I love that. Somebody got the guy from, oh man, I don't know the name of the movie. I need to do more research on this, but you should check Adam Lassar's page out. Go to my Facebook page under one of the Bob's Big Boy. Oh yeah, I met Alan Ruck from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I was 2000. This is a good story. Alan Ruck from 2005, 2006, I believe it was. Alan, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. We were sitting next to each other at a diner in Burbank, California. I believe it's actually technically Toluca Lake, but I was having breakfast there, and My breakfast came out, his breakfast came out. It was a packed diner. It was like Saturday, Sunday, and I went to go have breakfast. I think I was still dating Megan Smith at the time for the first time. She was probably still in bed sleeping. Megan Smith, and I go back to Adam Ruck, was a great girlfriend when I was first dating her. I mean, it's kind of like she slept during the day when I was at work, and when I came home, she woke up and she made us dinner and we hung out, and then when I was sleeping, she stayed awake, and then when I went to work at Alias on Brothers and Sisters or Crossing Jordan or some movie set in Los Angeles, she was sleeping in bed waiting for me to come home. So, and we dated for a year the first time, and we got back. Someone told her to break up with me, right? Mr. and Mrs. Smith, right? And then we got back together in 2009. So anyway, so that was she was a great girlfriend. And I actually listed how we got together, and we met. There was a jacket. I'm going all over the place here, but that's just you know what I mean, get a cup of coffee, pop some popcorn, you know what I mean? It's just like, call Zelensky. Where's Zelensky at? Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like, that guy is asking for money in the street. I'm practically doing the same thing. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, and I think I have a better acting resume than Zelensky, right? Zelensky was an actor. This is real talk here. Yeah, I mean, and I also have a better acting resume than Donald Trump, right? It's just kind of like, Donald Trump was in The Apprentice. I'm a great actor, right? Zelensky was an actor. Donald Trump was in Home Alone with Macaulay Culkin, who I met. See, this all kind of comes full circle, right? Macaulay Culkin was in Home Alone. Donald Trump made a cameo. It's a great cameo. I love that, right? Anyway, so just pop some popcorn, brew some coffee, send this out to your friend, you know what I mean, a friend, invite them over, right? And then I'll get back to Alan Ruck. And the secret is they don't want you to see that. Listen, all right, here we go. This is all kind of come out. Invite some people over. We had spaghetti dinners when I was playing football in middle school and high school. It was mostly high school. And the community got together. They would change at the houses that they were at, and they'd make pots of spaghetti and sauce and garlic bread the night before the games. You know what I mean? It's like, well, I was doing the same thing though, but in Los Angeles with musicians and actors. And if this cuts off for some reason, or if like the frame freezes up, just I'll try to make notes. You know what I mean? Because we're already at 40 minutes, and it's just me with my camera. But anyway, so Alan Ruck from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. My plate of food went down. Alan's plate of food went down. We're sitting right next to each other. He's from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I'm just doing background work at that time. You know what I mean? I did a zombie movie, 2 zombie movies in Maryland. I'm just in Los Angeles trying to do the do instead of turning around and going home like Adam Driver. I want to hear Adam Driver's diner story. I want to see Adam Driver's pictures from Los Angeles. You know what I mean? Just go to Los Angeles, start taking pictures. You're going to get on the NSA's list. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, and all of a sudden, somebody from England or Canada is going to be making a movie with your stuff, right? So Alan Ruck said, "What is that?" And I said, "Oh," without looking at him, I said, "Oh, it's the veggie omelet." Oh, it's like if someone had suggested it to me one day. I was like, "Oh, there's vegetables in the inside, avocado on the top. There's like sour cream and sauce on the side, hash browns that I got like the hash browns loaded." It was a delicious breakfast at one of my favorite diners in Burbank. Right, and then I look over at the gentleman next to me at his food, and then it's like this plate. It still looked good, you know what I mean, but it was like over easy eggs with hash browns and bacon. It looked very dry and bland. And I was like, oh, and then I look up at him, and it's Alan Ruck from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And I said, oh my God, it's you. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, oh, it's Alan Ruck. And I didn't remember his name, but he's like, yeah, my name's Alan. He's done a lot of movies since then. Anyway, but that's Bob's Big Boy. There's photographs of my page that I took at Bob's Big Boy in Burbank, California. They have a classic car show that Tim Allen's been to. I have photographs. I've seen Tim Allen, who I worked with as a background person. I have photographs of Tim Allen's studio in North Hollywood. Tim Allen brought his one of his classic cars to the classic car show at Bob's Big Boy in Burbank. And anyway, I have pictures of Tim Allen's classic car at Bob's Big Boy. I also have pictures of Tim Allen's movie studio, which also dubs as his office and garage. Tim Allen is like I said, it's like that dude is like, that guy is he has an American dream, right? He started out, you know what I mean, he had gotten into some trouble with something, right? It's kind of like he turned his life around. He's in home improvement. Yeah, I mean, he has a garage full of cars that he's always working on. He's making movies. That's what he wants to do, and he's doing it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, and I believe I heard, I met Jay Leno briefly too. I don't know if Jay Leno ever went to, I think I've heard that Jay Leno went to Bob's Big Boy. I didn't meet him there. I met him in West Hollywood. I believe he was with his it might have been his significant other. I don't know. But I said hello. He was a very generous, gracious man. I just said hello to him, and I happened to hand him a flyer for my video, What Would Taylor Swift Do? I also handed it to Seth Meyers' brother, who was at the Grove. He looked just like Gavin Newsom. I handed Seth Meyers' brother, who was doing a Gavin Newsom bit at the Grove, I handed him my flyer, handed Jay Leno my flyer. So those guys, they at least have the flyer. I handed it to them, right? So it's like other people, I handed my flyers to one of my most recent videos, which was a year ago. I met somebody recently and they're like, oh yeah, I got your flyer. That video was a year ago, wasn't it? I was like, yeah, it was. And then the Christmas tree video was months ago. So I've just been so busy. I have 14,000 images. I have 14,000 images on my computer, and it's like, that's almost a job. Right, here we go. Let's just like a little lighting exercise here. Let's see, to find my lighting, the proper lighting. They would do this, like all the gaffers on Brothers and Sisters and Alias, they'd find the perfect, it's just like, and then we get a little like, just, it's just like, just to get the, see, that's a hot spot, and then they try to, here you go, let me see here, and then if we can see this coming back from there, so we need to bounce it like that. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I almost had it, but see, this is sort of, there it is right there, right there it is. See my eye, see my left eye, I guess if you're looking at it. Yeah, so the sun's coming from there, right? And then then you would just do that. So look, it's a nice image, and you can also do that in Photoshop if it was a photograph, right? So anyway, because the sun's doing something strange. So I talk about, okay, my guy friends, right? So there's all these guys that I considered my friends, right? And I think Drake actually even sort of witnessed to that. He says, those are my brothers. Read Drake's lyrics and then look at my photographs, and he says something about they know, right? It's like those are my brothers. That's just something that they know. It's just like, they're my brothers. It's just kind of like, so I could have a picture. Like, so Brad Stocker, for instance, who I consider one of my best friends, he had gotten behind me, and he had 2 things of beer. You can look at it. It's in the Starshine Express, and he's behind. It was his turn to buy pitchers of beer. We're all bowling. On the other side of the camera is all of our girlfriends, right? It was right after Lindsay Elias, and I hadn't dated Megan Smith yet. I believe I was dating a woman by the name of Lori. Anyway, so Brad Stocker, I believe, ran up right behind me, has 2 pitchers of beer. We were bowling in Encino, California, like we always did on Tuesday or Wednesday night, I believe, because it was like $8 for like 3 games or something like that. And they're all my buddies. Bobby Dodge, who looks like George Clooney. Tony Napoli was a good friend of mine. I thought he was my friend. We were roommates at one point. We went to Lansing, Michigan with handlebar mustaches. Perfect. As a joke, as something that we wanted to do for our buddy Brad Stocker, Tony Napoli and I were like, I suggested to Tony, wouldn't it be funny if we grow out beards and the day of the wedding in Michigan, we shave our beards, we just have handlebar mustaches and wear sunglasses to the wedding? He says, that's hilarious. Tony Napoli did, right? And like, what friends would do that? So we flew to Michigan and invited, right? Will Ferrell invited movie with Reese Witherspoon. Look at my Facebook page and then go look at the news and look at the movies that are being made. Look at my Facebook page with the Justin M. Alvarez photo essay, The Whimsical Arbitrariness of Justin M. Alvarez. I'm in the motion picture industry. I made a photo essay. It's hilarious. It's funny in nature. Justin Timberlake is talking about dating women. I'm going to have you naked by the end of this song, right? It's just kind of like, he's sexy back. It's kind of like, there's these lyrics that these pop artists and hip hop artists are saying that I made a photo essay and then I made short films. Photos, motion picture industry is like, you have photographs, you put words to them, and if you get a camera, you can make a movie, right? And that's why I drove to Los Angeles to do, not turn around and go home like Adam Driver. So it's like, somebody needs to start saying something, right? Besides me. Why am I the only one saying something? Anyway, so, there are secretly, but like with the Christmas tree and SAG going on strike. Anyway, so, you should check out my photo essay. We grew out handlebar mustaches, and so I took real photographs and strung together a fictional, it's supposed to be humorous, storyline, because we went to my friend's wedding in Michigan with handlebar mustaches, and it's just like Wedding Crashers is a movie with Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn, which is hilarious. I think it came out in the 90s. They crashed weddings. So we just did it as a joke, but then I utilized and we were in character the entire time. So we're wearing sunglasses and we have our handlebar mustaches, and Tony Napoli has a Mason's ring on his finger, which is interesting. So Anyway, so, and people are using my material, so what's that all about? Anyway, so that photo essay was something that I did creatively because I was bored, because I was ready to get a movie role or doing something that would challenge me spiritually and creatively. So I started making my own work, or just started trying to have some fun. Yeah, I mean, so look at my photographs, look at what I'm posting. And then Will Ferrell just came out with a movie called Invited. Yeah, I mean, with Reese Witherspoon about a wedding, because the caption for my video, for my very first photograph, was a wedding photograph, and it says, "Do not invite me to your wedding." That's what it says. And then Will Ferrell has a movie called Invited. And let me just say, the photograph at Ziggy's party, Elf was playing. Will Ferrell, did you know that? When my mother was in town, we took the Hollywood tour, and we saw Will Ferrell going to his recyclable bin and canister. So we saw, it was like a safari. We saw Will Ferrell taking out his compost and recyclables in the Hollywood Hills somewhere, wherever it was. My mother wanted to go on a tour, and we went on a tour. Anyway, when she was visiting me, because Adam Driver turned around and went home, my mom was like, "Son, show me California, show me Los Angeles, show me Hollywood." I took her on the set of Brothers and Sisters. I got her on the lot. The AD, who was an acquaintance, I would consider her like a friend. She was always working me on Alias and Brothers and Sisters. Anytime there was something extra to do, she was like, "Justin, do you want to hand Jennifer Garner a cup of coffee in this next scene?" Yes. "Justin, do you want to read lines off camera with Sally Field?" Yes. "Justin, do you want to throw a football with Rob Lowe in this next scene?" Yes. "Justin, do you want to..." Yes. "Yeah, I mean, Justin, can you work on another show with us tomorrow?" Yes. "Justin, we don't have your guy isn't standing in. Kevin, Matthew Reese from Welsh, is he's not working tomorrow. Do you want to stand in for somebody else?" Yes. "Do you want to do background tomorrow?" Yes. Because I was paying my bills. Yeah, I mean, so that's what I was doing. So they were keeping me working. When I went back to Central Casting in 2012 or 2013, before Ryan Seacrest picked me to stand in for him, one of the casting directors at Central Casting said, "I recognize you. I know who you are." I said, "Do you?" And they said, "Yeah." And I believe it was a guy. And then it was a long time ago. But they said, "We had a workshop about you, all the casting directors here at Central Casting, about how much work an actor can get, and we utilized you as the main subject, as the main actor. But look at all this work Justin was getting." You know what I mean? It's like you could pay your bills. He has an apartment that he's renting with a filmmaker friend that he met in Virginia on a zombie movie before he drove out cross country. That's his roommate. And then he met Megan Smith, and she moved into his place a month later, right? So it's like, and then they dated for a year, and then they dated again in 2009. So Central Casting had a workshop on me about how much work an actor can get in the entertainment industry, and I think that's good. The only thing is it should be easier to get from doing background work. Like if someone just does something, or if they want to be an actor, or they're exhibited qualities, they're like, "Oh, that's good, like he could potentially be ready to do a leading role or like a major motion picture." You know what I mean? Or let's send him to Juilliard for 4 years or whatever. Like Adam Driver, after he drove to Los Angeles, he wanted to be an actor. He says he joined the service, right? And then, which was good for him. And then he went to Juilliard because we're in America, and it's land of the free, home of the brave, and he's entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And Adam Driver wanted to do acting, right? And that's a great thing to do. The Greeks invented theater because they were firing on all cylinders. They were they had operated on spiritual principles, the Greeks, and they were philosophers, right? You can look this up. The Greeks invented theater, but it was a way to, as a mirror, to help them contemplate the meaning of life. What's this meaning of life thing about? What's this life about? You know what I mean? It's like, what are we here for? You know what I mean? So that's what the Greeks were thinking about, and they utilized theater to so they could watch human relationships, problems being solved, things that were happening in relationships, and potentially things with their country, right? So that's where theater came from. But I believe that America has it backwards now, right? It's like there's a hierarchy of needs, right? So it's like, first it's like it goes with a person, and I also believe with a country, right? So you have to you have to have the floors cleaned first, and that's my personal philosophy, right? And the floors aren't clean right now. So it's just like, and just like the Greeks, I mean, it's like first you have to have your basic necessities, your food, your shelter, your protection, your water, your hygiene. You have to be able to take care of yourself first, right? And then it's just like, and then potentially your mate. You know what I mean? It's like we are, it's like hardwired in us subconsciously to procreate, right? It's just like it's primal. That's like a prehistoric thing, and then it speaks of that in the Bible. After Julius Caesar, right? Anyway, so the Bible, art, and then art comes, right? So it's basically, so patronage. See, here we go. Thank you, God. So patronage is something that was employed. I wrote this on a Beverly Hills hotel image that I took. Patronage is something that kings and presidents and potentially like a ruling class would employ for to hire artists, like so Leonardo, like Da Vinci and Michelangelo. Like, so for instance, like the Sistine Chapel in at the Vatican. I didn't see the Sistine Chapel when I was there, but I was at the Vatican. You can look at my Italy photographs that Spider-Man Far From Home is copying. You can look at those. So anyway, that's where it is. So, and that's me looking up. They got that right where I'm looking up right there, which they shouldn't have done, because it's like, okay, because it's the conclave. I'm gonna try to keep this going on for another minute. You can just listen to me talk, because I said something true or about the Vatican or something like that, or I stopped looking at the camera and my secret handlers decided to pause it right there. But the Conclave movie, so you should check out my photographs from Italy and then look at the recent movies that are being made right now, including Conclave. So there is more to talk about. I feel like I was just like, they want me to keep this nice and tight, I guess, and maybe I was getting off of key. So I still have a lot of notes, certain actors that I wanted to talk about, the plays that I did, my friends in Los Angeles, my guy friends that were strictly my guy friends, right? It's like I've dated a lot of women, and if one of my guy friends, I mean, it's legal to like the same sex. Congress made same-sex marriage legal, but it's like if my friends ever wanted to do anything with me, they never mentioned it to me, right? Though all those guys are my guy friends, right? And I moved to Los Angeles to be an actor, and if people were doing things in my images, I'm unaware of why they were doing it. That's sort of starting to become clear right now, but they probably shouldn't have been doing that. Anyway, I was talking about Brad Stocker and that photograph, and George Clooney with Bobby Dodge, that I believe that the truth can be adjusted. He had that movie that came out, I believe it was in 2007, Michael Clayton. So the looking up thing, they were just waiting for me to do that, because that's what people do when they're looking up to see what else happens, rather than looking directly at the camera. But so solutions, I didn't get the solutions. There's been several people that says, what's the solution? The solution is Justin M. Alvarez needs to get paid. It's not America until Justin M. Alvarez gets paid, right? So the solution is you could send my materials out. You can also contact me directly, ask how you can assist me financially with some type of donation until I get potentially hired by Ryan Seacrest, right? Or somebody in the government wants to contact somebody, Justin Bieber's agent and Drake's agent, and say, how much money did you make, right? And then, okay, well, now cut him a check. How much are you paying your manager? 15%. How much are you paying your lawyer? 5%. How much are you paying your agent? 10%, right? So it's like somebody should be able to do that on behalf. What are we paying those people our taxpayer money for if they're making me do it all by myself, right? So it's like, it needs to be America. Make America great again, and it's not America until Justin M. Alvarez gets paid, right? So I think I talked about stuff in the Bible about women. The marriage bed is undefiled. Be thou always ravished with her loves, right? So it's like they want to make poetry illegal, right? Unless it's like state sanctioned, right? The Song of Solomon is poetry. Some of it's erotic poetry. It's beautiful poetry that they have in the Bible. Song of Solomon, also Revelation, right? They talk about a prostitute and Revelation. No, they don't. Yes, they do. Open up your Bible, read Revelation. what does it say in Revelation? See, the other thing too is that I'm gonna keep it going here. Just listen to what I'm saying here. So if you're like listening to me when you're driving or in your car or whatever, I'm gonna just keep talking. Be like the radio, like a fireside chat. Who was that? Roosevelt. Like if I was Joe Rogan, I'd be like, hey, talking to his assistant. Let's look up. What president was that with the fireside chat? Was that Roosevelt? I would guess Roosevelt or Truman, but possibly Roosevelt. And I don't think it was Teddy Roosevelt. But anyway, my guess would be, so who was the one that did fireside chat? I would say Roosevelt. Anyway, and a lot of that was probably radio at the time because, anyway. Yeah, anyway, Joe Rogan would be like, look up who's the president that did fireside chat. Okay, anyway. So, and then potentially that was where Bill Murray came in and said, America's favorite old fart, reading a book by a fireplace, right? Was that to have anything to do with that? Because also predictive programming, Bill Murray in Scrooge, he falls into that place full of ice and he says, what is this, Trump Tower? Bill Murray does, right, in Scrooge. So that's very interesting that they did that. So, okay, so I'm going to try to wrap it up here. Just because I would prefer the video to be on me, or you could just listen to it, but I'm gonna post this either way. I started mentioning 300, which I believe, like I said, if God or somebody came down and said what movies are made about him, I'm pretty sure that they would say 300, right? Because it's like I moved out here in 2004, in August 2004. I had already been doing acting work. In 2004, I did a play, a community theater in Maryland. It was called Bye Bye Birdie. I played Conrad Birdie. Video, NSA, you should let this video just keep playing. Yeah, I mean, it's just like they want to just. I'm a professional here. I'm gonna keep going. We're just gonna keep going here, and they should let this video go back to being a video again. So anyway, it just kind of got paused here. But anyway, so I did Conrad Birdie, Bye Bye Birdie in 2004. Before I moved to Los Angeles, I was Conrad Birdie. I did an Army training video in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. I got paid it's like several $1,000s to do an Army training video. It was like an industrial thing, which was very cool. It was probably my first paycheck that I got, and that sort of helped inspire me. It was like, well, maybe I can be like an actor. You know what I mean? It's like, and then I got a lead role in a zombie movie that filmed in Virginia shortly after that. I had a mentor around that time, Manuel Poblete. I think I mentioned him briefly. I'm still impressed with Manuel's resume. I mean, I have nothing but respect for that guy. Every time I think about that guy's resume, I'm impressed because like he had like pages of like every time he got put in a suit, he had a pager. When there was pagers, he had a cell phone, a fax number, a landline, and that guy just got on set and he just handled it. You know what I mean? All over, like up and down the East Coast, but mostly it was like DC, Baltimore, I think Philadelphia as well, places in Virginia. So 2004, before I moved to Los Angeles to work on Alias, that I didn't know I was doing at the time. It was sort of a leap of faith. But I did a play. It was my 6th play that I did in Cecil County, Maryland. God bless you guys. God bless you. Hello. Hallelujah. Faith without works is dead. God will move mountains, but you have to bring the shovel. So I did a play in it was my 6th play in Maryland. It was in Cecil County, Maryland. Community theater. I did 2 plays in high school, 2 plays in college, 2 plays in community theater, one of which was Silver Scream that got turned into a movie based off of my suggestion. And I love all those people that I worked with. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like it was cool. It inspired me to do what I wanted to do. So anyway, so I did Bye Bye Birdie, Conrad Birdie. I'll just go over this one more time. I already said it, but it's just going to help me get my train of thought here. So just bear with me. Thank you. And then, and thank you, God and NSA or no, keep going. No. And then, so, okay. So, anyway, so what is like, there was all these plays. There was the Army training video. There was the zombie movie. Bob Walters, the director's assistant on The Wickets, overheard me saying that I was thinking about moving to New York or Los Angeles, and he said, "Oh, well, I have a room in Los Angeles that you can be my roommate if you'd like. It opens up in August." And at that point, I believe it was June-ish, and I said, "Sure." I thought about it. I meditated on it at the time. I didn't know I was meditating, but I just had some quiet time to myself. And then I drove cross country and I stayed with my buddy Michael Todd Schneider, who was one of my guy friends from The Wickets. and he was a trusted companion. I mean, it's like I see some of these friends that I had. It's almost like trying to figure out what I could compare it to. It would be like a cherished childhood friend. I mean, like if you ever had a childhood friend that you cherish that friendship, like that's what my guy friends are. I mean, so anyway, I stayed with Michael Todd Schneider in Pittsburgh after I had lunch with my grandparents in Media, Pennsylvania, outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I grew up in Marcus Hook, Pennsylvania, for the first my early years of my life. My grandparents had a house in Media, Pennsylvania. The entire time I was on the East Coast and living in Los Angeles for the first round, my grandparents lived in Media, Pennsylvania. It was like 15 minutes outside of Philadelphia. My grandmother worked for the Philadelphia Inquirer, which is a newspaper there. Anyway, so I had lunch with them. First of all, I said goodbye to my dog Coco several different times. I had a breakfast with my father at the Waffle House in Elkton, Maryland. Said goodbye to Coco. It's just like I took a picture with my mom. In Elkton, Maryland. Drove to Media, Pennsylvania. Had lunch with my grandparents, Jack and Jane Gattone. Then I drove to Pittsburgh, 6 hours. I stayed with Michael Todd Schneider and his. He had sort of like a mentor, like a father figure. This guy named Ben, who was in, I believe it was the fall of the Roman Empire with Sophia Loren. I believe there's a picture of him. I have it. Ben Tater, I believe you pronounce his last name, Tater, has a black and white picture next to Sophia Loren, and he was a background person in a movie, a black and white movie. I believe it was the fall of the Roman Empire. And so he became a mentor of mine. Ben, an older guy, he was Michael's neighbor and mentor. And then I drove to Chicago, Illinois. Outside of Chicago, I stayed with Jason Ryan Lovett, who I met at the acting class in 2003. He, just like me, saved up money and flew to Los Angeles for 2 weeks. And then I got to see Jason doing Macbeth in Illinois. I stayed with his parents at his parents' house. I believe there's a spare bedroom, if I'm remembering correctly. And we went to the Mint in Chicago. It was a jazz club. I saw Jason Ryan Lovett perform in Macbeth. I have this awesome photograph of him. I went on stage with him afterwards, and we both had swords, and we had like our swords crossed with each other. And I have a photograph of that. And then after that, I drove to Minnesota, and I stayed with Adam Lassar and Ziggy Peters, who eventually, like Jason Ryan Lovett, moved to Los Angeles. So I stayed with Adam Lassar and Ziggy Peters in Minnesota, and then I for a few days, and then I drove to it was like Nebraska, and then Colorado, and then down to Utah, and I camped in Colorado, and then I camped in Utah. And then from Moab, Utah, I drove like 14 hours to Los Angeles, and then I pulled up in North Hollywood in my parking spot that I had, that Bob Walters had waiting for me. I'd already sent my check in the mail to Bob Walters before I arrived at my apartment in August 2004. And then I ran into the apartment. I said, "Where's the bathroom?" He says, "Over there." I say, "I have to use the bathroom." And then while I was in the bathroom, I said, "The place looks great." I mean, the place did look great. It was a beautiful living room. It was a large living room, dining room, kitchen. Then there was like a divider. You walk in. I had the community bathroom. I had my own bedroom. There's a hallway. Bob Walters had his own bathroom and his own bedroom. And then months later, Megan Smith moved in with me. After I met Megan Smith at the mall, there's this great photograph that I have in Los Angeles, photographed by Paul Gregory. That same day that I purchased that jacket at Express at the mall in Burbank, I met Megan Smith. Megan Smith invited me after we flirted for several minutes. Megan Smith asked if I wanted to meet her parents. I said yes. They were having lunch at the mall. I met her parents, Greg, and I think I don't want to say, I think I remember her mother's name, but Greg is her father. And then we had our first date within 3 to 4 days after that. Megan Smith and I believe we went to Priscilla's first. It was just a coffee shop in Toluca Lake. We might have gone to Bob's Big Boy after that, and then we went back to my place. And then like a month later, we had another date like the next night or 2 nights later, and then we had another date after that, and then she like moved in within a month. You know what I mean? And then like months later, she decorated, and she was like my living girlfriend. And like while I was taking my Thomas guide and like going to each of these sets from all these studios all over Los Angeles. I was learning Los Angeles and living in Los Angeles, and that was my first 3 years in Los Angeles, so, which was a great experience. And if there should be an easier way to translate that into like a movie role, or like you know what I mean, go to Juilliard for a while, you know, get your craft and your career up to speed. But it's like I've sort of done everything. You know what I mean? It's just like I've done short films. I've worked on other people's short films. Like Alex Rosencruz worked on a short film of mine that I'm reluctant to say the title, but it's very similar to Sarah Jessica Parker's Sex and the City, right? It's like it's a similar title. That Matthew Broderick from Ferris Bueller's Day Off married Sarah Jessica Parker. She was in a television show called Sex and the City. So I have a short film. It's comedic in nature. I filmed it with a professional television crew. Saturday Night Live copied it because I guess we're going back to puritanical time period, and I'm running for president without knowing that I'm running for president, right? It's like I was 22 years old when I moved out here, college age. You know what I mean? College age humor. Didn't know I was running for president. Shouldn't have been running for president, right? It's just kind of like, and if I am running for president, somebody should tell me that now, right? I am old enough to run for president. I'm born in America, right? So it's the other thing I think of, just briefly, is all these guys from England and Canada, maybe it's easier for them to get movies because our government is so insecure with itself. I'm sure this is the reason, because the men in this country, at least they're insecure about their masculinity, their sexuality. That's kind of like, if you're from England or Canada, you won't run for president. You can't, because you're from another country. You have to be born in America. So maybe that's another reason why it's just like, well, it's just easier, Justin, because people, if you're from England, it's like, how many movies do you want? And it's just like, I just want one movie right now, right? It's just kind of like, and those people are using my stuff to make movies, so it should be easier. Someone should just be like, just write him a check then, right? Somebody in the government or the deep state is just like, write him a check. You know what I mean? It's just like, Drake, did you or didn't you? Yes, I did. How much money? It was a lot. Then pay him. Write him a check. What do you think is fair? Well, it's just like, well, what do you think is fair? It's like, okay, all right. So it's just like, do what's fair, do what's right. Someone should be able to say that on my behalf. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, I don't have to meet any of those people. It can be just like yes, okay, fine, here you go, right? We want to keep it honest. You know what I mean? It's just like, but I mean, I'd be cool with any one of those people, but it's like, I also need to get paid, right? And then it's just like, I moved out here to be an actor and an artist, an entertainer, a photographer. I'm good at what I do. If someone asks me what's the best thing, like, you know what I mean, like, what are you the best at? I'm an awesome photographer. Like, I can say that hands down with like no questions asked, without even blinking. It's like, I'm an awesome photographer. It's like the way that I take photographs, my composition. All these photographs that you see on my Facebook page and these albums, there's zero editing, and I took those with an iPhone, right? So it's just like the way that I compose a picture. You know what I mean? It's like, you literally see me, like I'm doing this, or like I'm doing this, I'm doing this. You know what I mean? It's just like, I'm just trying to get exactly. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, you know what I mean? And I also go this. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, oh, we think that this is that thing in that image. It's like, well, go look at the context sheet, man. You know what I mean? And these people judging my images, have they taken a community college a photography class? Because if they even walk into those classes, they'd walk right back out. They're like, yeah, you're right, he's right. It's just like, just pay him. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, there's 12 people in that, 12 to 30 people in those classes, and they're all taking images. They're all showing the images. They all look different. Oh, how many images do you take to take that one image? A lot. Oh, Lord, do you have contact sheets? Yeah, we do. And you literally see, sometimes there's photographs of me for one actor headshot. There's 4 contact sheets at least, right? Because it's just like, they're taking, let's take this color shirt, let's take that color shirt, let's take this background, let's take that background, right? It's just kind of like something like 4. Like with Paul Gregory, I've taken several photo shoots with him, very expensive photo shoots. It's kind of like, they're contact sheets, like 4, sometimes 5 contact sheets, and then you blow those up from like the small image on the contact sheet to like a 3x5, and then from the 3x5 you go, okay, you narrow it down to like a dozen. I like these dozen photographs, great. Then they blow them up to 3x5s, and you're like, I like these 3 photographs, great. And then you're like, okay, you get those to slightly larger, and you're like, all right, that's the one I want for my headshot, right? And it's just like, and sometimes you get 2 different headshots, right? And but like, that's what you do. I've done that a lot. So there's a lot of images that I have. So the other images that I have, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's like, they're just images, right? And if it's like, you know what I mean? So for my short film, Shant Hamassian did something at the end of the short film that I did. It's like, if you think that I'm playing with my food always, I'm not. You know, I wasn't the one who did that. Shant Hamassian did. But it's like, so what if I am? Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like, you see, I think they just want to get invited to the party. We want to get invited to the party. We don't want you to have a dinner party. We want to have the dinner party, and then we want to get invited to it. And I was like, well, then why don't you pay me a salary? I started saying this to people on the street recently. I'm like, you know what I mean? I was like, which is, if you hire me, this is another reason why they don't want to hire me. You know, they're hiring people from England and Canada. It's just like, I might hire those people to be on my set, right? It's just kind of like, well, why don't you hire me? Why don't you keep those jobs in America, even if they are filming in America? I know Batman, I think, was filming in London for a second. I don't have a problem with any of these countries. I don't have a problem with any of these actors, but I just need to get paid, right? It's just kind of like, there should be a point here. It's just like the leadership in America, somebody should have a moral compass and just be besides me, right? And just be like, yeah, no, that guy needs to get paid. Pay that person, right? It's just kind of, I'm sure that Drake would love to, right? It's like, Drake, are you aware that you're doing that? And if he says, no, I wasn't aware of it. But Drake is looking like this. In one of his images, Drake is looking like this. He's going like this. He's looking down like he's ashamed, right? You know what I mean? It's just kind of like Drake is. I also have a photograph of him doing that, and it's just an actor photograph. I have all these photographs where I'm just looking right at the camera. Eventually, I want to go like this. You know what I mean? Eventually, I want to go like this. Eventually, I want to go like this. Yeah, I mean, eventually I want to start doing like this. I'm like, well, I already have the actor headshot where I'm just looking like I'm Tom Cruise, right? You know what I mean? It's kind of like or Ewan McGregor. I already have that photograph. Well, let me try to do something like this. Let me do a 3/4 shot. You know what I mean? Like, let me do an actor model shot. Let me do something where I'm standing up. Let me do something where I'm sitting down. Let me do something where I'm like emotional. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, that doesn't actually mean that I was sad, because look at the next pictures. It's me with my girlfriend Megan Smith when we get back together, right? So it's just like, just because I have, and then the SAG face. Yeah, I mean, it used to be on the card. Right now, it's a man standing in a suit, and he's raising his hand in triumph, which is cool, right? That's what it should be. But before, it was the actor face, the sad face, and the happy face, right? Like, just look up SAG, right? There's a sad face, it's a mask, and he's sad. You know what I mean? And then there's another one, and he's happy, just like an actor would be. Like, we need you to be happy, sad, happy, sad, happy, sad. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like it's acting. You know what I mean? So if I take a picture where I'm like this, yeah, I mean, it's like Drake copied that. So there's an image, I'm wearing a leather jacket, and I'm kind of going like this, right? And so that's one of the images. The other image, I'm going like this, right? And then there's another image. There's 3 images. I'm looking down. I'm looking at the camera. Oh, I'm looking to the side. Wow. He did what? What do you do, son? Oh, man, he looked at the camera, then he looked to the side. Has anybody ever done that before? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, yes, they have. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, look at the Screen Actor Guild sign, right? So there's a picture of me going like this. There's a picture of me going like this. And there's a picture of me going like this. But I'm looking down, right? And so Drake copied that one where I'm looking down. And there's also pictures of me with Lane, my dear friend Lane. She was a good friend of mine. She was an older woman, older than, you know what I mean? She's like, she wasn't my age when I met her, but she's a lovely woman. Lovely, you know what I mean? Pretty and lovely. She's a gracious woman, a lot of fun, like reserved. She has like an English sensibility to her. Anyway, so I met her at the SAG headquarters in like 2004, and we became friends. I'm a loyal friend. We were friends. She invited me to like screenings. I went to screenings with her. Yeah, I mean, and one of which was this George Clooney. I want to tell this story real quick because I heard George Clooney speak, and he said a joke which was hilarious, and I tried to like duplicate that, but since we lived in the Middle East, people think I'm like, he's sad because he looks down for 1 second. The next thing he's like this, is like, oh man, maybe he doesn't like women. Yeah, I mean, it's like, no, I like women. But anyway, so George Clooney is in the audience, is doing a talk. I believe it was for Syriana, and anyway, I think it was at the Directors Guild, and a woman in the front row said, asked him a question, and he said, without skipping a beat, he said, did anyone in the back who couldn't hear what that woman said? She said, how is it possible that I'm so handsome? I'm just as handsome in person as I am on camera. And then everybody laughed. Yeah, I mean, it was very, very funny. And I remembered it, and I was like, that's hilarious. And of course, that's not what she said, right? It's like he was just taking liberties. And he was like, to anyone in the back who couldn't hear it, she wanted to know how is it possible I can be so handsome in person, just as handsome as I am in person as I am on camera. Everybody laughed, right? So that was George Clooney, very charming and charismatic, and he's like he's controlling the conversation in the room, right, at the Directors Guild, and he's having a laugh because it's just like, let's everybody relax. He was having fun. Yeah, I know. He's like, yes, I know. I'm George Clooney, right? It's kind of like, and of course that's not what she asked, but that's probably what she wanted to ask, and she's probably like, take my number, you know what I mean, and like throwing things up at him like on the stage, like articles of clothing, probably, you know what I mean. So anyway, so Lane invited me to that, right? So when my mother came to town, Lane had a Christmas dinner at her home, and I invited my mother. We had Christmas dinner at Lane's house, and then we went to my, it was sort of like a mentor of mine, yeah, I mean, also a good friend. He was more than that, he was a friend, Dan. He lived up the street from where I was renting an apartment in Burbank with some of my buddies, and we had Christmas, like a Christmas gathering, which Dan and his wife loved, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like, because there was all these people. I was there with Adam, well, at least Darren. I believe Adam was probably there, but it was Darren Badheart Bull, Shant Hamasian was there, my mother, Megan Smith, and we were all I'm photographing all these people. So anyway, so I invited my mom and my friends and my girlfriend to Dan's house right up the street in Burbank after my mother and I had dinner at Lane's house, and then my mother, who knew Megan from my first time I was dating her, Megan came to visit me in my mother's house when she was living in Dover with her husband. I believe it was Christmas 2005. Megan Smith flew to the East Coast with me and stayed at my mom's house in Dover, Delaware. And then Megan Smith and I went to New York City that Christmas. Anyway, so my mother knew her from the first time I dated her, and my mother's like pointing to her for some reason, which I also think Deadpool copied. And I also believe when Deadpool's like doing that sketch, those are my sketches at the Beverly Hills Playhouse that they need to like either let go or hire me for. And it's like I said, I'm reluctant to talk about politics, people potentially copying my images and short films, because it's like, you guys should just make that easier for me to get paid, right? But then maybe they feel threatened by me for some reason because I'm an American, right? And it's just like, and then that's also needs to be discussed too, right? It's just kind of like what do you guys just start doing your jobs? Yeah, we don't want to, we're not allowed to, right? It's just kind of like, well, we don't know what that is. You know what I mean? Because like we've been basing our world off of negativity and like and potentially conning and robbing people. So I mean, I don't. Eventually, I'm gonna have to like say it, but it's just like I mean, there's at least one political person who looks just like Camilla Bird. I mean, it's just like, and it's just like that was from a short film that I did at the Beverly Hills Playhouse. They also, I believe, made 300. Camilla Bird was the actress that I worked with at the Beverly Hills Playhouse for my first short film at the Beverly Hills Playhouse. Richard Lawson was the actor from Poltergeist. He worked with Steven Spielberg. He was the gentleman that had he was, if I'm remembering correctly, there was a camera. He was one of like the scientists on Poltergeist. Anyway, so I paid money to take that guy's class, just like I paid money to take a class at the Groundlings in improv. What are you doing? What are you doing? Improving. You know, Inception. You know what I mean? Like that's probably another reason why they shut down those brothers and sisters pictures, because I'm like, and some of them I went back and edited after I looked at it. I was like, that's from Inception. That's from Inception. That's from Inception. And I wrote that, and it's like days later they shut down the thing, right? The comment section on my Facebook photo albums when I'm like, that picture's from Inception. And those are from 2005, 2006, and Inception came out in. Oh, excuse me, that was 2007, November 2007, November 2008, and Inception came out in 2010. So, anyway, and the red shirt that Ellen Page is wearing, Lindsay Elias is wearing the exact same wardrobe in Italy, right? In 2007, I'm in Italy with Lindsay Elias in 2007. Okay, anyway, so, maybe again, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I'm the first person, because it's like that sort of did what I did and accomplished driving cross country. Because prior to me being in college, right, it's just like videos, you had to be Charlie Chaplin working at the studios to get yourself on camera. Now anybody anywhere in the world can go to Best Buy or Target and buy a $100, $200, $300 camera, put themselves on camera, get a video, put it up on YouTube, and have thousands of people viewing it, millions of people viewing it. I'll just mention the guys from Dude Perfect. I love watching the guys from Dude Perfect. I love their videos. They started out in their backyard doing trick shots. You know what I mean, like throwing like a basketball into like a basketball hoop. They were doing stuff with darts. You know what I mean, it's now they have like a warehouse in Texas where they make their videos and they have billions of views. You know what I mean, it's kind of like they have a warehouse doing trick shots. So that's their job, right? So it's like, That's what they did, right? I met a guy at the Grove with a dog, Cash 2.0. He's a Great Dane. You can also look up Cash 2.0. You know what I mean? Give that guy some views. You know what I mean? It's like YouTube pays that guy's bills. You know what I mean? The dad of Cash 2.0, he's a Great Dane. All he does is walk around with his Great Dane. He has a GoPro, a video camera on his belt, and he videotapes people saying hello to his dog. And he walks around Hollywood Boulevard. He's been to UCLA, the Grove, which is where I met him. I met him there twice. Just a sweet dog. You know, I mean, he just answers the same questions. Cash 2.0's dad, the Great Dane's dad, he'll upload a video. By the end of the day, it's been viewed 5,000 times, right? There's 5,000 views on Cash 2.0's video. YouTube pays his bills, so that's another great way to make money. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know what I mean? It's like if you get enough clicks, they put in something, then they'll start putting ads on it. It's something of interest. That's a great way to make money. I mean, if you're interested in video or something like that you're good at. Anyway, so Cash 2.0, the guys at Dude Perfect, they have their first video on there. Anyway, so but what I was trying to say is prior to that, it's like before I moved to Los Angeles, I didn't have the internet. You know what I mean? I believe that there was the internet when I was at community college, but there's also the Social Network movie with Andrew Garfield and Justin Timberlake, and I also believe that has something to do with my videos, possibly. The Social Network, right, where they're stealing Facebook, right? Andrew Garfield, who's in Spider-Man, Justin Timberlake, my same first name as me, Justin. I was at Lance Bass's house from NSYNC in 2004 for New Year's Eve, right? The Social Network. Anyway, and I'm going through what I'm going through now. Eisenberg, I think, is also the name of my photography teacher at Cecil Community College, Christy Eisenberg. I think that's that guy's name. Yeah, I believe he was playing a character in that movie, The Social Network. Anyway, so prior to me being in college, you had to have like a movie camera, like a major movie camera, to put yourself on film. And when I was in community college learning how to make movies, your cameras are now like, you can make a movie now with your phone, right? So it's like, but prior to that, you couldn't do that, even like in the 80s and in the 90s. You know what I mean? Like there were VCR cameras. You know what I mean? It's like, and then people weren't really doing that. So it wasn't really until I was in college that technology was available to just normal people, right? And then after college was the internet. Now you can post it, and then you can have views, so from the entire world. So anyway, so and also with my courage, I guess, with me exhibiting my courage and my work ethic and doing things prior to Los Angeles. So let me just clear this up things to my people, my Irish or Israel friends. It's just like I was crossing invisible bridges before when I was in high school, right? So from 1999 to 2000, 1999, I was in New York City from Elkton, Maryland. My mother can testify to this. My father can testify to this. I have a picture from New York City Times Square with the people that I was hanging out with. I went all by myself, 17 years old. I took a bus from Newark, Delaware. I believe it was right at Elkton, Maryland, right at the Delaware line. A bus from Maryland up to New York City, and I witnessed the ball drop on the turn of the year, 1999, 2000, the turn of the decade. It was the 90s to 2000, the turn of the century, right? It was like 1900 to now 2000, and the turn of the millennium, right? So it's just like, I was there in New York City. It was like, so, and it wasn't because I was doing anything strange with anyone. Yeah, I mean, just like intimately. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I think I only had 2 girlfriends at that point, right? And I was still in high school, right? So I think I was just doing, maybe I was getting ready to do my second play or just finished up my first play in high school. So it's like, I didn't do anything, and it took a severe act of courage to get on a bus all by yourself when all your friends or say, no, we can't go. Mom and dad said we couldn't go. That's the age I was when the parents were like, no, you can't go. Because I was living at home with my mom. And you know what I mean? My dad was right down the street, and I had to ask them both, right? And they both said no. So, and I went anyway, right? Anyway, so that was an amazing experience. Probably one of my most favorite life experiences. So, and I was doing plays at that time. And like I said, I made a movie from Maryland, right, that got a write-up in my hometown paper. You can look up the Cecil wig, and you can see me in the paper twice from a movie that I did. I believe it came out it was prior to 2004. It might have been 2002. I think the article came out. Maybe it was 2003. But anyway, so I got my SAG card, like I said, working on The Wire in Baltimore. Anyway, so the first short film with Camilla Bird, it was showcased for the class. It just happened to be really good because I was a film student at Cecil Community College, and I also utilized I think it was at least a year, possibly 2 years of working on sets in Los Angeles, and I'm ready to go. Let's do this. I want to get an acting job, right? Like that's what the intention was. And then Megan Taylor, a woman that I dated 2 different time periods. Megan Taylor's pictured in a working hot tub next to me at my housewarming party, my second housewarming party with Dylan Highsmith and Tony Napoli in North Hollywood. Ari Schindler, from like the Schindler List name. There's a person that I would consider an acquaintance. I would consider him a friend. He was at 2 of my parties. One was a housewarming party at a hot tub. He was across from me in a hot tub with Adam Flood Reed. Adam, whose nickname is Satchel. And then Megan Taylor, who I dated in 2006, and then saw again in 2008. She was sitting in my hot tub next to me. And then 2010, Ari Schindler and Megan Taylor were both standing I had a mountaintop celebration in 2010 in Burbank, California, in the mountains, in the Verdugo Mountains, and Ari Schindler was there, and with Megan Taylor, right? Not together, they were there. Megan was there for me. She got me the bottles of Maker's Mark, and Megan was like, "Happy birthday!" Yeah, I mean, it's like, here's your present, and so anyway, so that's what I did. That's what I. Those photographs. So anyway, so I think that prior to my time period, it was people didn't have access to the equipment, and then potentially people weren't accomplishing what I've accomplished, and so maybe the deep state is trying to play catch up, and it's like, well, here's somebody who knows what he's talking about. I'm confident I know what I'm talking about, right? And it's just kind of like, and there's some things that I'm learning. I've practically become a lawyer. You know what I mean? It's like I'm thinking not only from my point of view, but their point of view, potential arguments that they have, and the potential cross-examinations that I would potentially be bringing up, and just like, well, what's that? You know what I mean? So I have years of movie history, not only from me being in Los Angeles, but I'm like, what about all these TV shows that I grew up with? You know what I mean? It's just, what about the rating scale, the system? Like, there's rated G movies for kids, rated PG movies for kids, rated PG-13 for like around 13 years of age, or teenagers, you know what I mean? And then rated R for like adults, you know what I mean, or people 18 years of age, but parental discretion advised. Now they just, we don't want people to see your pictures at all. You know what I mean? It's like everybody's clothes are on in their photographs, right? It's just like, are they rated G photographs? Some of them are rated G photographs. Some of them are just pictures of my neighbor's cat. You know what I mean? Some are pictures of food that I take on my plate, right? Just kind of like, some of them are, I would say they're PG-13 photographs. Maybe some of them are rated R photographs that they're like sexually suggestive or whatever. Or like Megan, you know what I mean, just wearing a trench coat and like a swimsuit type of thing, which they do in Victoria's Secret catalogs. Walked and then stay home. You know what I mean? This is what they want you to do. Don't go to a mall. You're gonna walk past the Victoria's Secret models. You know what I mean? It's just like, don't go to a mall. Don't go to a supermarket. Don't look at the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. You know what I mean? And there's other magazines that are out that are very graphic. You know what I mean? That would be past rated R, right? So it's like, none of my images are that. You know what I mean? It's just me taking photographs in Los Angeles. I happen to just be an awesome photographer, and it's like, and they're trying to find something because they don't want to pay me, because they've been trying to get underneath of me since I've been in college, right? And it's just so like I've been accomplishing tasks by myself. Like when they tell everybody stay home for Y2K, they're always telling people to stay home, right? So this is what it is. It's just like Y2K, stay home. You know what I mean? I went to New York City. I had a great time. I made out with a beautiful woman, right? Ceci. I have a picture of her, right? It's just like, that's what I did my New Year's Eve. She said, he's cute, and I turned around, and I started, and I hung out with her and her friends. I have a picture with her and her friends. It's a Polaroid, and you can see Times Square in the background, and the ball that dropped. So it's like, they're always telling people to stay home. And I went to New York City, 17 years old, going to Times Square. I'm an American citizen. I'm allowed to do that, right? They're trying to take away people's rights. No, we want you to stay home. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, oh, you went to New York City. Oh, okay, fine. We were telling everybody not to go to New York City. All right, but it's kind of a cool thing that you did there. So, all right, okay. And now you went to Los Angeles. All right, okay, fine. Or, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, oh, now you're having dinner parties. Oh, now you're working on set. No, he has business. You know, Adam Sandler, don't mess with the Zohan. And he has, him? You know what I mean? Adam Sandler with Rob Schneider. It's kind of like, and he has business? You know what I mean? It's kind of like, and he says his name. He's like, him? You know what I mean? It's just kind of like watch Don't Mess with the Zohan, Adam Sandler. They're watching a film. The Batman, The Dark Knight, when the Joker's laughing and they're watching, they're pinpointing his facial features. You know what I mean? So I'm sure they're trying to figure out. You know what I mean? It's like things I would do with my short films, because they're like, what the heck is this guy doing? He's running down the street in a Speedo, and Adam Sandler's like swimming like this. You know what I mean? It's like, and I think it's also Don't Mess with the Zohan, right? Because I'm interviewing people in a Speedo. It's like, well, I was hired to be in a Speedo for a commercial as a background person. And let me just tell you the story briefly. It was very, very cool, right? They're like, listen, we're not going to break you for lunch. We're going to, we know what that means. You're going to get paid a lot of money. I got paid a lot of money. It's called meal penalties. If they don't they feed you every 6 hours, they have to pay you an extra $10 or something. We made a lot of money off of meal penalties, because it's like, we're still going to feed you. They got out like a truckload of In-N-Out burgers, French fries, shakes, doubles. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, so I had 2 hamburgers and French fries, and my job was to be in a swim team and then jump out of the pool with my swim team, Michael Phelps. You know what I mean? And then like running around the back lot that looked like the end of the world scenario. I think it was for a watch or something, and I got paid a lot of money on that. So when I was with my buddy Sasha with the Beverly Hills Playhouse, and the teacher was like, you need to make a video. If you don't have a camera, borrow one. Go to Best Buy. See, look, this is the other thing, too. He's like, make a video. Figure out, it's like guerrilla filming. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, if you don't have a camera, get with somebody that does. Somebody here has a camera. If you know what I mean? It's like, go to Best Buy, buy a camera, return it. Right after you film your stuff, get it done. You're in Los Angeles. Are you going to turn around and go home, or are you going to make a video? Make a video. Just do it. Shia LaBeouf, right? Shia LaBeouf, I'm going to post this thing on the comment of the video. Just do it. He says, stop giving up. And then he looks like the guy from Shia LaBeouf's in Transformers, but he has that ponytail like the guy from 300. I believe, and then that's right in the time period that I was getting speaking roles when I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, to continue to pursue my acting career, which I did. And Shia LaBeouf, I believe, was 2015, 2016. That was right when I got like a speaking role in Nashville. I believe I got, what else was there? The Originals, Michael Keaton, the founder. I mean, Shia LaBeouf came out with a green screen. Just do it. Yeah, I mean, so it's just like, and he looks like one of the guys from 300. Yeah, I mean, so it's just like, you should rewatch that. Yeah, I mean, so anyway, so the teacher of the Beverly Hills class said, you need to make a video, and we made videos. You know what I mean? So it's just like, so when I told Sasha, I was like, I have an idea for a video. He says, you won't do it. I said, yes, I will. And he says, all right, I'll get the camera. So we got the camera, and we went to a peaceful protest. You know what I mean? That's what it was. And I was doing it as a joke, but for my class, that was the second video that I did. Or maybe it was the third, no, it was the second, and it was hilarious, and then I forgot about it. You know what I mean? It's just like, I did other stuff. I was trying to, at some point, somebody, see, if we had leadership, somebody told me there's no central authority, right? But it's like, somebody should have, like, at any time point during you want to go to Juilliard? Yes. You know what I mean? It's like, you want to be in a, hey man, why don't we pick you for one of these superheroes? Yes. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I mean, there's 3 different Spider-Men, and they all sort of look like me. One of them's from England. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, it's like Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield. Yes, I like women. And even if I don't, there's Jeremy Renner. So what's the problem here? Yeah, I mean, is it blue? Yes, it's blue. Do both hands need to be blue? It's blue. Yeah, I mean, and if it's not, there's still Jeremy Renner and Spock. It's blue. Maybe it's orange. Andrew Garfield's wearing an orange jacket. End taxation without representation is on the license plate of Washington, D.C. Why does it say that on the Washington, D.C. license plate? Thank God, people in America. There are some people that are Americans here. Our founding fathers were rebels, right? It's like they rebelled against they threw the tea in the harbor. You know what I mean? It's like, you guys, this isn't land of the free, home of the brave. Start throwing the tea in the harbor by sending my videos out, right? It's like, we got to get Justin paid. Why can't Justin get paid? Because other people are getting paid for the stuff. What's the problem? What are they upset about Justin? I don't care if it's the police. There was a national defund the police movement. I want to talk about that. Let's talk. Listen, I don't have a problem with them. My best friend growing up was a police officer. He was in the Air Force, and he was a police officer. So it's like, I consider him one of my dear friends. You know what I mean? It's just like, I was friends with his son growing up, and then I believe I became more mature than his son, but that's, you know what I mean, he was doing his own thing, and so I related more to his father, who I grew up with. You know what I mean, it's just, he became a friend of mine. You know what I mean, it's just like, they're family friends. Anyway, so it's like I don't have a problem with people having jobs in America. He happened to be a police officer, but if there's a national police defund the police movement, what's that all about, right? Because like it's somebody needs to like be like this. Why can't he get paid? You know what I mean? It's just like just why can't he needs to get paid? You know what I mean? We don't work for free in this country. Nobody works for free in this country. You know. Anyway, so I started talking about the founding fathers, and so yeah, they were rebels. They threw the tea in the harbor. You know what I mean? Like they were like this. Oh, end taxation without representation. I'm going way off my notes, but that's something I want to talk about. So they say that, and I believe it's two reasons, right? Because I think somebody in D.C. they know what they're talking about, right? So it's two things. It's like they say end taxation without representation. So that's what's on the license, Washington D.C. license plate, the District of Columbia, right, where they have the Washington Monument, George Washington, our founding father, right, which is like this, which is like it's just like straight up and down, right, the same thing that they have outside of the Vatican, right? So it's just like, what's that all about, right? So this was going on a long time before me, right? So it's just like the Pope has that same statue or the monument outside of the Vatican. They have it at Washington D.C., right? Anyway, so end taxation without representation. Let me talk about this. So I believe it's like, there's two reasons. If you're going to tax somebody for something, you have to say, this is what we're taxing you for, right? It's like, you can't say we're taxing you just because, right? And then our founding fathers, eventually somebody's going to grow a pair and say, no, you're not going to do that anymore, right? So we're going to throw the tea in the harbor. You're not going to tax us over that, right? So the other thing that I believe that they're doing in the entertainment industry, if like I kiss my girlfriend a certain way, like I'm a passionate guy, and it's just like, I believe Andrew Garfield was kissing Emma Stone, like, and their tongues are like sideways like this, you know what I mean? It's on Saturday Night Live. I believe they were taxing me because I was probably kissing Lindsay Elias or Megan Smith like that, but then we weren't sure if you like women or not, and you're being really passionate with one of your girlfriends, all of your girlfriends, and then it's like so much so that we have to tax it. And Andrew Garfield, it's not safe unless Andrew Garfield's doing it with Emma Stone and it's on Saturday Night Live. We're just going to rob you. And taxation without representation. I didn't have representation at that time. Andrew Garfield, Saturday Night Live. You can't steal my stuff. Stop stealing my stuff because I kissed my girlfriend with my tongue. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, I'm going to talk to you about the Bible, something that you don't recognize, right? It's like, well, it's in your Bible, right? The New Testament. It's like, it says, be thou always ravished with her loves. Ravished. It's not talking about having a tea party, right? But it's like there's these people that like Mother Mary. It's just like the Immaculate Conception. Oh, he didn't. Nobody had sex with Mother Mary. She just we don't know where Jesus came from. She just sort of existed, and it wasn't sex, and she didn't enjoy if it was sex. Well, you can turn on Colin Farrell's video or any other video online, and you can see if those women are enjoying what's happening to them or not, right? So it's kind of like. But no. There's no sex, right? Jesus is Immaculate Conception, right? So it's just like, end taxation, and the marriage bed is undefiled, and it's nobody's business. Anyway, so end taxation without representation. Nobody in CAA or ICM or Endeavor or Saturday Night Live or Andrew Garfield or Zuckerberg or Eisenberg or Billingsley or Highsmith or, you know what I mean? It's like Rosencruz. It's like, you can't tax my stuff because I'm passionately kissing one of my girlfriends, right? It's just kind of like, does he have an agent? Then you can't tax him. It'd just be like somebody not having a job and pay me taxes, pay me what you owe. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, well, I have to have a job first, hire me first. You know what I mean? So anyway, so it needs to be America. You know what I mean? It's like, that's un-American. It says so on the Washington D.C. license plate. So thank God there's some entities in America that are American. End taxation without representation. Every politician should be saying it. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid. You can't be afraid of these people, right? Because it says live free or die. New Hampshire. Our founding fathers were rock stars. Yeah, I mean, listen. There's two genders. All right, real talk. There's two, right? Because I know Hollywood still can't figure that out, right? There's two genders. There's male and woman. That God made Adam first. This is in the Bible, right? And I have real world experience of this when my grandfather told my grandmother to be quiet, right? And she'd listen to it because, well, how far are you going to go back, Jane? The Bible, Adam and Eve, and she just looked at him and said, "Yeah, you're right." You know what I mean? It's kind of like God made Adam first. And then he made Eve to be Adam's helper. He didn't do it the other way around. And Adam wasn't deceived, it was Eve. Eve was deceived by the serpent and the devil. All right, my desk is almost full. Okay, all right, I'm gonna have to wrap this up. Okay, anyway, God bless you guys. I'm only ending this is because of the time that's happened here. But no, so God made, and that's about Kate Bush running up the hill. They're literally stealing from people, like British invasion with the Beatles. So anyway, I'm gonna have to wrap it up there. Adam and Eve. Yeah, I mean, it's just like they utilize women as weapons. Hashtag me too. The other thing too is you got to stop doing this like, oh, he looked at me wrong, and then just like gone. When all you have to do is turn and they see like they're lying to people in this country. They are 110% utilizing women as weapons, and they need to stop doing that like immediately, right? And businesses need to take cash. It needs to be America. It's not America until Justin and Alvarez gets paid. Send this video out to your friends. Peace.